The wind on Veros Prime never stopped howling. It cut through the ice like a knife and made the metal buildings shake. Taeho Kim pulled his coat tighter and walked across the frozen ground toward the mining equipment. His breath came out in white clouds that disappeared quickly in the bitter cold. He had been working alone at the mining station for 6 months now. Most people thought he was crazy for taking this job. Veros Prime was a dead moon at the edge of known space. Nothing lived here except ice and rocks. The company paid well because nobody wanted to come to this frozen wasteland, but Taeho did not mind being alone. He liked machines better than most people anyway. Machines were honest. They broke down when they were supposed to break down. They worked when you fixed them right. People were much more complicated. He reached the main drilling platform and checked his tablet. The big excavator had stopped working again. This was the 3rd time this week. Taeho sighed and grabbed his toolbox. "Morning, old girl," he said to the massive machine. "What is wrong with you today?" Taeho always talked to the machines. It helped him think and made the long days less lonely. He climbed up onto the excavator and opened the engine panel. The problem was easy to find. A coolant line had frozen and cracked. "You need to stay warm," he told the machine as he replaced the broken part. "This cold will kill you if you are not careful." While he worked, Taeho hummed an old song his grandmother used to sing. The melody echoed off the ice walls around the mining site. This place had been a deep canyon before they started digging. Now it was more like a crater that went down into the moon's core. The excavator started up with a loud rumble. Taeho smiled and patted the machine's side. "There you go, much better." He was about to climb down when something caught his eye. Deep in the crater, the drilling had exposed something that did not look like rock or ice. It was smooth and had a strange blue glow. Taeho grabbed his binoculars and looked closer. The object was huge, maybe 30 meters long. It looked like crystal, but crystal did not glow like that. He had never seen anything like it. His radio crackled to life. "Taeho, this is Control. We are seeing some strange readings from your sector. Everything okay down there?" Taeho picked up his radio. "Yeah, Control, but I think you need to see this. The drill found something weird. Define weird. I think you better come down here. Bring the big scanner." An hour later, One Park arrived in the hover transport. She was the corporate overseer for this mining operation. One was smart and tough, but she always looked like she would rather be anywhere else than this frozen moon. "Show me," she said as she climbed out of the transport. Taeho led her to the edge of the crater. Yuan looked down and her mouth fell open. The strange crystal object was even more visible now. The excavator had cleared away most of the ice around it. "What is that thing?" Yuan asked. "I don't know, but look closer." Yuan raised her binoculars. After a few seconds, she went very still. "Taeho, there is something inside that crystal." "No, what do you think it is?" "I think we need to call the science team, right now." They climbed down into the crater using the maintenance ladders. Up close, the crystal was even more amazing. It was perfectly clear except for the blue glow that seemed to come from inside. Strange symbols were carved all over the surface. They looked very old, but it was what was inside the crystal that made them both stare in shock. It looked like a dragon, not the small lizards that some worlds called dragons. This was a real dragon from the old stories. It was huge and covered in dark scales that reflected the crystal's blue light. Its wings were folded against its body. Its head was long and noble, with horns that curved back from its skull. "This is impossible," Ju-Won whispered. "Dragons are not real." "This one looks pretty real to me," Taeho said. He walked around the crystal prison, studying it from every angle. "Look at those symbols. They are not human writing. The company is going to want this thing. We need to figure out how to cut it out of the ice and transport it. Maybe we should be careful. Whatever put this dragon in here probably had a good reason." Gu-Won was already on her radio, calling for the science team and heavy equipment. But Taeho was not listening to her. He was looking at the dragon's face. Even frozen in the crystal, it looked sad. like it had been sleeping for a very long time and having bad dreams. "Poor guy," Teho said quietly. "You must be tired of being stuck in there." He reached out and touched the crystal. It was warm, which was strange. Everything else on this moon was freezing cold. The symbols under his hand began to glow a little brighter. Teho called, "Look at this." But Ji-won was busy talking to the corporate headquarters. She was excited about their discovery. This would probably make her career. Teho looked back at the dragon. Something about it made him feel sad. Maybe it was the way its eyes were closed, like it was dreaming of better times. Or maybe it was just being alone for so long on this frozen moon that made him feel connected to another lonely creature. "Hi there, big guy," Teho said softly, his voice barely heard over the wind. "That looks uncomfortable. I bet you would like to get out of there." The moment he spoke, something changed. The blue glow got brighter. The symbols on the crystal began to pulse like a heartbeat. And deep inside the crystal, something moved. The dragon's eye opened. It was huge and golden, like a small sun. It looked right at Teho through the crystal. For a second, the mechanic felt like the dragon could see straight into his soul. But instead of being scared, Teho felt calm. The dragon's gaze was not angry or dangerous, it was grateful. "Ooh, Teho called, his voice shaking with excitement. "You really need to see this." But the dragon's eye was already closing again, as if the effort of opening it had been too much. The blue glow faded back to its normal level. The symbols stopped pulsing. Teho stared at the crystal, wondering if he had imagined the whole thing, but he knew he had not. The dragon was alive, in there, and somehow it had hurt him. 3 days passed after Teho saw the dragon's eye open. The science team had arrived from the main colony ship. They brought big scanners and cutting tools. They also brought Dr. Haijin Lee, who was the best alien biology expert in this sector of space. Ji-won Park was very excited. She kept talking to corporate headquarters about how this discovery would make them all rich and famous. The dragon was unlike anything humans had ever found before, but Teho was worried. Every time the science team tried to cut into the crystal, their tools stopped working. Laser cutters overheated, plasma torches went dead. Even the simple mechanical saws broke when they touched the crystal surface. "It's like the thing doesn't want to be cut open," said Bo Min, one of the mining engineers. "Don't be stupid," one snapped. "It's just some kind of energy field. We'll figure it out." Teho was not so sure. He spent his free time sitting by the crystal, talking to the dragon like he talked to his machines. He told it about his day, about the weather, about the problems with the mining equipment. Sometimes he thought he saw the symbols glow a little brighter when he spoke. On the 4th day, something changed. Teho was eating his lunch near the crystal when he heard a voice in his head. It was deep and old, like rocks grinding together in an earthquake. "Who speaks to me in the darkness?" Teho dropped his sandwich. He looked around, but nobody else was nearby. The science team was up on the surface, arguing about new cutting techniques. "Did you just talk to me?" Teho asked the dragon. "You are the one who first spoke with kindness. I've been listening to your words for days. They have given me strength to wake fully." Teho stared at the dragon's closed eyes. "Are you really talking to me, or am I going crazy?" "Both may be true. I am Virathan, the eternal last free son of the Dragon Lords, and you are the first being in 1,000 years to speak to me without fear or greed. I'm Teho. I fix machines. I'm nobody special." "You are more special than you know, Teho, who fixes machines. Tell me, what has become of the galaxy while I slept?" Teho found himself telling Virathan about humanity's spread across the stars, about the colonies and trade routes, about the peaceful contact with other alien races, about how humans had learned to share space with dozens of different species. "Fascinating," Virathan said when Teho finished. "You have done exactly what the ancient masters hoped you would do. They were right to believe in your kind." "What ancient masters? Who put you in there?" The dragon's mental voice grew sad and angry. "The Kethver. A race of beings made of living crystal and pure energy. They believe organic life is a disease that must be cured. For millions of years, they have moved through the galaxy, destroying any species they judge unworthy. That's horrible. Why did they freeze you instead of killing you? Because I refused to help them destroy humanity. Teho felt a chill that had nothing to do with the cold air. You were supposed to destroy us? Dragons were once servants of the Kethver. We were their weapons, sent to eliminate species before they could become threats. But when my clan encountered early humans on your homeworld, we saw something the Kethver could not see. What did you see? Hope, curiosity, the ability to make friends with anyone, even creatures that should be your enemies. You treated us not as gods or monsters, but as equals. No other species had ever done that. Teho smiled. Sounds like humans haven't changed much. Indeed. You offered me food when I woke, just as your ancestors offered food to my clan brothers long ago. Their conversation was interrupted by footsteps. Dr. Haijin Lee was climbing down into the crater with her. Scanning equipment, she was young and very smart, but she always looked tired. Running tests on alien artifacts was hard work. Hello. Teho, she said. Any changes in the crystal today? Nothing new, Teho lied. He did not think Varathan would want to talk to the scientists, yet Dr. Lee set up her scanner and began taking readings. These energy patterns are unlike anything we've seen. The crystal seems to be generating its own power source, and the organism inside shows signs of active brain function. You mean it's alive? Very much alive. In fact, it seems to be more alert today than when we first discovered it. Varathan's voice spoke in Teho's mind. She seems wise for one so young. But I will speak only to you for now. There are things you must know before others learn of my awakening. Dr. Lee finished her scans and climbed back up to the surface. When she was gone, Teho asked, "What things?" My prison was more than just a cage, Teho. It was also a warning beacon. The moment I fully awaken, it will send a signal across space to the Kethver fleets. A signal saying what? That I have escaped. That I am free to warn the galaxy about their return. They will come here quickly to silence me forever. Teho felt his stomach drop. How quickly? There's perhaps weeks. It depends on how far away their nearest fleet is positioned. We have to warn people, tell them what's coming. Who would believe such a story, a frozen dragon warning about ancient enemies? They would think you had gone mad from isolation. Teho thought about this. Varathan was right. Even he was having trouble believing this conversation was real. There is another problem, Varathan continued. I am still very weak from my long imprisonment. I cannot break free from this crystallon. My own and your people's tools cannot cut through Kethver technology. Then how do we get you out? I do not know. But we must find a way soon. When the Kethver arrive, they will not just destroy me. They will see that humanity has grown strong and spread far across the stars. They will decide that your species has become too dangerous to live. Teho stared at the dragon's peaceful face. You're saying they'll try to wipe out all humans? Every last one. Just as they have done to countless other species, unless we can stop them. The wind howled across the crater, carrying with it the sound of machinery from the surface. Above them, humans worked and lived and had no idea that their entire species might soon be endangered. Teho put his hand on the crystal. Don't worry, Varathan. We'll figure something out. Humans are good at solving impossible problems. I hope you are right, my friend. Because the alternative is extinction. In the distance, alarm sirens began to wail. The long-range sensors had detected something approaching the system. Something big. The alarm sirens screamed across the mining station. Red lights flashed in the control room as everyone ran to their emergency positions. Teho climbed out of the crater as fast as he could, his heart pounding. What's happening? He asked Jiwon, who was shouting orders at the communications team. Long-range sensors picked up multiple ships entering the system. Big ones. They're moving fast and heading straight for us. Dr. Haijin Lee looked up from her scanner. These energy signatures don't match any known ship designs. The power levels are enormous. In his mind, Teho heard Virathan's voice. They have found me. The Kethver are here. Teho grabbed G1's arm. We need to evacuate everyone, right now. Calm down, Teho. It might just be a cargo convoy that got lost. We don't know if they're hostile. Trust me, they're hostile. We have maybe an hour before they get here. How could you possibly know that? Before Teho could answer, the communications officer called out. Ma'am, I'm picking up a transmission from the approaching ships. It's not in any language our computers recognize. On the main screen, strange symbols appeared. They looked like the writing on Virathan's crystal prison. The symbols pulsed with cold blue light. It's a demand for surrender, Virathan's voice said in Teho's head. They want you to deliver me to them. In exchange, they promise to kill you quickly instead of slowly. That's not much of a deal, Teho thought back. The Kethver do not believe in mercy. Quick death is the greatest kindness they offer. The first Kethver ships appeared in the sky 30 minutes later. They were massive triangular vessels made of the same crystal material as Virathan's prison. They moved without sound, floating through the air like deadly ghosts. My God, Doctor. Lee whispered, they're beautiful. Beautiful things can still kill you, Teho said. He was thinking hard about their situation. The mining station had no weapons. The nearest military ship was days away. They were trapped, but Teho was a mechanic. He was used to fixing impossible problems with whatever tools he had available. Juwan, I need you to trust me. Get everyone to the underground shelters except for the engineering crew. What are you planning? Something crazy. Virathan, can you help me understand how your crystal prison works? What are you thinking, my friend? I'm thinking that if Kethver technology made that crystal, maybe we can use Kethver technology to break it. The largest enemy ship landed near the mining station. It was beautiful and terrible, like a mountain made of living diamond. Smaller ships circled overhead, their weapons charging with deadly light. A figure emerged from the main ship. It walked on two legs like a human, but it was made entirely of moving crystal. Energy flowed through its body like liquid lightning. When it spoke, its voice echoed across the frozen landscape. I am War Prime Zexthun of the Kethver Cleansing Fleet. You will surrender the traitor dragon Virathan to us immediately. Resistance will result in prolonged suffering. Teho grabbed the mining station's external microphone. Sorry, but we can't do that. He doesn't want to go with you. The crystal being's head turned toward the control room. Even from this distance, Teho could feel its cold anger. You dare speak for a dragon lord, insignificant meat creature? Virathan belongs to us. He is our weapon, created to serve our... Well, nobody belongs to anybody else, Teho replied. And Virathan is our friend. Zexthun raised one crystalline hand. Energy began to gather around it. Then you will die with him. That was when Teho put his desperate plan into action. Dongwu, fire up the main excavator, he called to the chief engineer. Route all power to the plasma drill. That's insane, Dongwu Han replied. The drill isn't designed to be a weapon. It is now. Virathan, I need you to do something for me. When I give the signal, channel your fire through the drill beam. Teho, I am still too weak. The effort might kill me. Better to die fighting than trapped in a cage. The Kethver energy blast hit the mining station's shields. The protective barriers held for about 3 seconds before collapsing completely. The next shot would destroy the entire facility. Now, Virathan? Down in the crater, the dragon's crystal prison began to glow brighter than a star. Golden fire poured out of it, flowing up through the mining equipment and into the massive plasma. Drill. The entire station shook as incredible energies merged together. The drill fired. A beam of pure dragon fire mixed with plasma energy shot across the landscape and struck the Kethver command ship. The beautiful crystal vessel cracked down the middle and exploded in a shower of sparkling fragments. Zexthun screamed in rage. The sound was like breaking glass magnified 1,000 times. Impossible! No organic creature can wield such power. But the effort had cost Virathan dearly. His mental voice was barely a whisper. I cannot do that again, my friend. I am spent. More Kethver ships were landing. Hundreds of crystal warriors emerged, their bodies glowing with deadly energy. They began marching toward the mining station. We held them off for a few minutes, Teho said. That's something, right? It is more than something, Virathan replied weakly. You have shown them that humans will not surrender quietly. That is a lesson they have not learned in a very long time. Dr. Lee was working frantically at her scanner. Teho, look at this! The energy discharge from the dragon somehow sent out a signal, a really powerful one. A signal to who? I don't know. But something big is responding to it. In the sky above Veros Prime, new ships began to appear, human ships. Dozens of them, coming from every direction. The lead vessel was the patrol ship Determination, commanded by Captain Su-Bin Choi. This is Captain Choi to mining station. We received your distress signal. What's your situation down there? Teho grabbed the radio. We're under attack by hostile aliens. They want to destroy all human life in the galaxy. Well, Captain Choi replied calmly, we can't let that happen, can we? All ships, battle stations. Time to show these crystal heads what humans do to bullies. The space battle above Veros Prime was fierce but short. Captain Su-Bin Choi's small fleet fought bravely, but they were badly outnumbered. The Kethver ships were faster and had better weapons. One by one, the human vessels were forced to retreat, or were destroyed. We can't hold them much longer, Captain Choi's voice crackled over the radio. They're jamming our communications. No one else knows we're under attack. Teho watched from the mining station as another human ship exploded. In the cold space above, his heart ached for the brave people who were dying to protect them. There has to be something more we can do, he said to Virathan. There is, the dragon replied, his mental voice still weak from their first attack. But it will require great risk. I must tell you the complete truth about my people and the Kethver. I'm listening. Long ago, dragons served the Kethver willingly. We believed they were bringing order to a chaotic galaxy. We helped them destroy hundreds of species that they judged unworthy of life. Teho felt sick. You helped commit genocide? Yes, and I will carry that shame until the end of time. But when we encountered your species on Earth, everything changed. Humans treated us with kindness instead of fear. You offered us friendship instead of worship. Down in the crater, Virathan's crystal prison began to crack. The dragon's growing strength was finally breaking through his ancient bonds. My clan realized that the Kethver were wrong. Life does not need to be perfect to have value. The chaos and the sciences of organic existence is not a flaw to be corrected. It is the source of all beauty and growth in the universe. So you rebelled? Against them? We tried to. Most of my clan brothers were destroyed in the war that followed. I was captured and imprisoned here as an example to any other dragons who might think of defying Kethver rule. The crystal around Virathan continued to crack and split. Golden light poured out of the growing fissures. But here is the secret. The Kethver never learned, Virathan continued. Dragons grow stronger when we fight alongside beings we care about. Your friendship, your trust, your courage, these things feed our fire better than any magic. With a sound like breaking thunder, Virathan's crystal prison shattered completely. The great dragon rose to his full height, stretching wings that had been folded for 1,000 years. He was magnificent, 30 meters of scales and muscle, an ancient wisdom, but he was also clearly weakened by his long imprisonment. His golden eyes were bright, but his movements were slow and careful. Teho, Virathan said, now speaking aloud instead of telepathically. His voice was like distant thunder. Will you fight beside me as your ancestors once did? You bet I will, but I'm just a mechanic. I don't know how to fight in a space battle. You know how to fix things that are broken. Right now, I am what needs fixing. Dr. Haijin Lee had been watching from the control room. Now she ran down into the crater, her scanner in hand. This is incredible, she said, staring at Virathan in wonder. You're actually a real dragon. I am real, young scientist. And I need your help if we are to save your species? What can we do? We're not warriors. No, but you are engineers and scientists and mechanics. You can adapt any technology to serve your needs. It is one of humanity's greatest strengths. Tejo looked around the mining station. You want us to turn this place into a weapon? I want you to turn this place into something the Kethver have never seen before. A partnership between Dragonfire and human innovation. Over the next few hours, they worked frantically to modify the mining equipment. Dong Wuhan and his engineering crew connected power cables between the excavators and Virthan's resting place. Dr. Li programmed the computers to channel the dragon's energy through the facility's systems. Tejo climbed onto Virthan's back, feeling the great muscles beneath the scales. Are you sure about this? I've never ridden a dragon before, and I have never carried a human into battle. We will learn together. Communications officer Insu Park managed to break through the Kethver jamming long enough to send a message to other human colonies. The signal was simple: under attack by hostile aliens, request immediate assistance. The response was faster than anyone expected. Within hours, ships began arriving from every human settlement within jump range. Freighters, patrol boats, even pleasure craft, anything that could carry weapons or supplies. I don't understand, Zexthun said during a brief communication from his remaining command ship. Why do they come? They cannot win against our superior forces. Why do they not flee to preserve their lives? Captain Choi answered from her damaged but still fighting ship. Because that's what humans do. When someone threatens our family, we all show up to the fight. Admiral Kyung-Suk Lee arrived with the largest human battle group anyone had ever assembled in this sector. Her flagship, the Soul's Pride, was old but well-armed. This is Admiral Lee to all human forces, her voice broadcast across every ship. We're facing an enemy that wants to wipe out our entire species. Today we show them that humans don't go quietly into the night. But even with reinforcements, the humans were still vastly outnumbered. The Kethver had called in their own backup. Massive dreadnought ships that could destroy planets. We need a miracle, Captain Choi said during a strategy meeting. No, Virthan replied, his voice reaching every human ship through their modified communications. You need to remember what you are. You are the species that looked at dragons and offered friendship. You are the people who turn mining equipment into weapons and cargo ships into warships. You are humanity, and that is more powerful than any crystal fleet. Tejo checked the connections between Virthan and the mining station one more time. Everything was ready for their desperate gamble. This plan is insane, Dr. Lee said. All the best human plans are insane, Tejo replied. That's why they work. Above them, the Kethver fleet was preparing for their final assault. War Prime Zexthun had grown tired of playing with the organic creatures. It was time to end this fight and cleanse this system of life, but he had made one crucial mistake. He had underestimated what humans could accomplish when they had a dragon for a friend. War Prime Zexthun's voice echoed across space, reaching every human ship and the mining station below. His crystal form glowed with cold fury as he spoke. Enough games, meat creatures. Virthan, you will face me in single combat. If you refuse, I will destroy every human world in this galaxy one by one. Your species will burn slowly while you watch. On the surface of Veros Prime, Virthan lifted his great head toward the stars. His golden eyes reflected the light of the Kethver ships above. I accept your challenge, Zexthun, the dragon called back. But know this, I am no longer the weapon you once commanded. I fight now by choice for friends who chose me first. Tejo was checking the power connections for the 100th time when he heard Virthan's words. He dropped his tools and ran to the dragon's side. Wait a minute. You can't fight him alone. You're still weak from being frozen for 1,000 years. I am weak, yes, but this is the way of such things. Champion against champion. If I win, the Kethver fleet will withdraw. If I lose, at least your people will have more time to prepare for what comes next. That's a terrible plan. We're supposed to be partners, remember? Partners don't let each other face impossible odds alone. Virathan lowered his massive head until he was eye level with Teho. My brave friend, this is not your fight. You are? A mechanic, not a warrior. I'm a mechanic who talks to dragons. I'm a mechanic whose best friend happens to be the last free dragon lord in the galaxy. If you're going up there, I'm going with you. Teho, you cannot survive in the void of space. Watch me. Teho was already running toward the emergency equipment locker. He grabbed a spacesuit and started putting it on as fast as he could. The suit was designed for asteroid mining, with built-in tools and a small propulsion pack. Dr. Hyjin Lee tried to stop him. This is suicide. You'll freeze to death in 30 seconds. Not if Virathan keeps me warm. Dragons are like big flying heaters, right? Tech specialist Woojin Kim, who was Teho's cousin, grabbed his arm. There has to be another way. Let the military handle this. The military is brave, but they don't understand dragon technology. I've been working with Virathan's energy signatures for days. I know how his systems work. Virathan watched this argument with growing amazement. You would truly risk your life for me? You risked everything to protect humanity 1,000 years ago. Seems only fair to return the favor. Above them, Zexthun was growing impatient. Choose quickly, traitor dragon. My fleet grows hungry for destruction. Virathan made his decision. Very well, Teho. But if we do this, we do it properly. Climb onto my back and hold tight. The great dragon launched himself into the sky with powerful wing beats. Teho held on desperately, feeling the incredible strength in Virathan's muscles. The spacesuit's seaters worked overtime to keep him from freezing in the thin upper atmosphere. This is either the bravest thing I've ever seen or the stupidest, Captain Subin Choi said over the radio. Why not both? Admiral Kyung-Suk Lee replied. The battle took place in the space between Veros Prime and its 3 small moons. Zexthun's body was made of living crystal that could reshape itself at will. He formed weapons from his own substance, swords of pure energy and spears of crystalline light. Virathan fought with fire and claw and ancient fury. But he was indeed weakened by his long imprisonment. Each exchange left him more tired, while Zexthun seemed to grow stronger. You see? The Kethra War Prime laughed. You are nothing without our power flowing through you. You are a broken tool, useful only for scrap. It was when Teho surprised everyone, including himself. Hey, Crystal Head, he shouted from Virathan's back. You want to know what the difference is between you and us? Enlighten me, insignificant creature. We don't fight because we have to. We fight because we choose to. And when humans choose to fight for something, we don't know how to quit. Teho activated every tool in his spacesuit at once. Welding torches, cutting lasers, and plasma jets all fired simultaneously. It should have been a pathetic gesture, tiny human tools against a being of cosmic power, but something incredible happened. Virathan's fire responded to Teho's determination. The dragon's flames grew brighter and hotter, fed by his human partner's unshakable courage. Impossible, Zexthun said as Virathan's next breath weapon tore through his crystal defenses. How can you grow stronger when you should be growing? Weaker? Because, Virathan roared, I am no longer fighting alone. The combined assault of dragon fire and human stubbornness was more than Zexthun could handle. His perfect crystal body began to crack under the pressure. This is not over, he screamed as his form began to collapse. The full Kefler armada will come for you. Every crystal ship in the galaxy will descend upon your pathetic species. With those words, Zexthun's body shattered into 1,000,000 pieces that scattered across space like deadly stars. Virathan and Teho floated in the silence that followed. Around them, the remaining Kethver ships were retreating, following ancient laws that required them to withdraw when their champion fell. We did it, Teho said, hardly believing it was true. Yes, my friend. But Zexthun spoke truly with his last words. This victory will bring the full attention of the Kethver Empire upon humanity. They will send everything they have to destroy your species. How long do we have? Not long. Perhaps a few months before the main fleet arrives. Teho looked out at the human ships gathered around them. Miners and merchants, patrol boats and pleasure craft, ordinary people who had come together to fight impossible odds. Then we better get ready. Because if they want to wipe out humanity, they're going to have to get past all of us first. And past me, Virathan added, for I have remembered what it means to fight for something greater than myself. As they flew back toward Veros Prime, neither of them saw the hidden signal that Zexthun had transmitted with his dying breath. Somewhere in the deep darkness between galaxies, ancient minds received the message and began to stir. The real war was about to begin. 3 months after the battle at Veros Prime, the Kethver Armada arrived at Earth's doorstep. The sight was beyond terrifying. Thousands of crystal ships that stretched across space like a deadly constellation. Each vessel was the size of a city and capable of destroying entire worlds, but humanity was ready. Admiral Kyung-Suk Lee stood on the bridge of her flagship, now renamed Dragon's Friend, watching the enemy fleet approach. Around Earth and its moon, the largest human defense force in history waited for the battle to begin. "Ma'am," reported Communications Officer Insu Park, "we're receiving signals from all human colonies. Everyone is ready." Down on Earth's surface, in a makeshift command center built around Virathan's new lair, Taeho was making final adjustments to their secret weapon. The past 3 months had been the busiest of his life. "Are you sure this is going to work?" asked Dr. Haijin Lee, who was now humanity's leading expert on dragon-human technology integration. "Honestly, no idea," Taeho replied. "But it's the craziest plan we could think of, so it must be good." The secret weapon was Virathan himself, but not alone. Using principles learned from their partnership, human engineers had created a network that connected every willing dragon in the galaxy to human partners. It had taken Virathan's influence to convince his hidden clan brothers to emerge from their secret refuges. "Are you ready, my friend?" Virathan asked. The great dragon had grown stronger over the past months, fed by constant contact with humans who treated him as family rather than a weapon. "As ready as anyone can be for the impossible," Taeho said, climbing onto Virathan's back. This time, his spacesuit was custom-built, designed specifically for dragon-riding combat. Across the galaxy, similar scenes were taking place. On Mars, engineer Donghua Han partnered with the ancient red dragon Paraxis. On the Jupiter mining stations, pilot Beora Nam flew alongside the silver dragon Stormwing. Even Taeho's cousin Wujin had found a partner, a young blue dragon named Tydekler who was barely older than the human space age. "All dragon rider pairs report ready," Captain Subin Choi announced from the Determination. "Fleet Commander Jae-sung, oh, you have operational command." Fleet Commander Oh was a veteran of a dozen space conflicts, but nothing had prepared him for leading dragons and humans into battle together. "All units, remember the plan. We're not trying to destroy the Kethver, we're trying to show them a better way." The Kethver attacked with overwhelming force, just as expected. Their crystal ships fired beams of pure energy that could slice through planets. Their boarding parties of crystal warriors seemed unstoppable, but humanity had learned something important over the past 3 months. The Kethver's greatest strength, their perfect unity and order, was also their greatest weakness. They could not adapt to chaos the way organic beings could. "Dragon riders, engage!" Fleet Commander O called out. Taeho and Virathan led the charge, diving between the massive enemy ships. Behind them came dozens of other dragon-human partnerships, each one unique and unpredictable. The battle was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Dragons breathed fire that human technology amplified into devastating energy beams. Human pilots used their ships to carry dragons into perfect attack positions. Engineers modified weapons in real time to counter Kethver defenses, but the real surprise came when Virathan made his galaxy-changing announcement. "Attention all beings of the Kethver Empire." His voice boomed across every communication channel. "I am Virathan the Eternal, and I claim right of succession under the ancient laws." The Kethver fleet actually paused their attack. "Impossible," came the response from the enemy command ship. "You are a traitor. You have no rights under our law. I am the last free dragon lord, and these humans are my chosen inheritors. By Ancient law, they have the right to challenge your claim to galactic dominion. What happened next shocked even Tejo. From hidden places across the galaxy, more dragons emerged. Dragons that had been hiding for centuries, waiting for a sign that the tyranny of the Kethver might finally end. "This is Paraxis the Firebringer," came a deep voice over the communications. "I stand with Virathan and humanity." Stormwing the Swift adds her voice to this challenge. Tydecaler the Young pledges his fire to the cause of freedom. One by one, dozens of dragons declared their allegiance to humanity and their rejection of Kethver rule. Each dragon brought with them human partners who had earned their friendship through kindness and respect. The Kethver Empress herself appeared on the main communication screen, a being of pure crystal and energy so ancient that her thoughts moved like glaciers. "This is impossible," she said, her voice like the sound of mountains being born. "Dragons serve the perfect order. They do not choose chaos over crystal clarity." "Your Eternal Majesty," Virathan replied formally, "with great respect you are wrong. We serve friendship. We serve hope. We serve the belief that life is more beautiful when it is free to grow in unexpected directions." Tejo found himself speaking to the most powerful being in the galaxy. "Ma'am, with all due respect, you've been doing this wrong for millions of years. Instead of destroying species that don't meet your standards, maybe you could try helping them become better." "You dare lecture the Eternal Empress?" a Kethver admiral demanded. "Actually, yeah, I do. Because somebody needs to tell you that perfection is boring. The best things in life come from mistakes and accidents and trying crazy stuff just to see what happens." The battle paused as both sides watched this impossible conversation. A simple human mechanic was arguing philosophy with a being older than most stars. "Show me," the Empress said finally. "Show me this better way you speak of." What followed was the strangest diplomatic meeting in galactic history. Instead of formal negotiations, humans simply did what they did best. They were human. Dr. Yuri Beek, now humanity's chief xenobiologist, offered to share human medical knowledge to help heal Kethver who had been damaged in battle. Engineer Dong Wuhan demonstrated how human and Kethver technology could work together to create things neither could build alone. Most importantly, ordinary humans like Tejo simply treated the ancient crystal beings as people rather than gods or monsters. "I still do not understand," the Empress said after hours of these interactions. "Why do you show kindness to those who came to destroy you?" "Because that's what friends do," Tejo said simply. "And we figure that everyone deserves a chance to be friends, even if they start out as enemies." The war ended not with a final battle, but with the strangest sight the galaxy had ever witnessed. Crystal beings learning to laugh at human jokes, and humans helping ancient enemies repair their damaged ships. The Kethver Empire became the Kethver Alliance, dedicated to helping species grow and develop rather than destroying them. Dragons emerged from hiding to become partners and teachers to dozens of worlds. And at the center of it all was a simple truth that Tejo had known from the beginning. Sometimes the most powerful force in the universe is just being kind to someone who needs a friend. Years later, Tejo still ran his repair shop on the transformed world of Veros Prime. The frozen wasteland had become a thriving center of interspecies cooperation. His workshop sign, painted in human, dragon, and Kethver languages, read simply, "Every machine has a story, every being deserves a hello." And in the workshop, an ancient dragon and a human mechanic worked side by side, fixing broken things and making the galaxy a little bit better, one conversation at a time.